Hey everybody, I'm Jess Johnson and I am a mind-body connection coach for entrepreneurs, visionaries, and leaders. What that means is basically I help people get their head and heart on the same page so they can start trusting themselves more fully. And one of the ways that I really help facilitate doing so is through something called EFT or emotional freedom techniques. So if you've never done that before, that's okay. I am here to help guide you. You are just going to tap where I tap and say what I say. Remember, you are in charge of your mental health. And so if you're feeling more activated at the end of this tap, please make an agreement with yourself that you will reach out to either me, I will give you my contact information, or somebody else you trust to help navigate your feelings. Also, just a reminder, if you are ever doing tapping and you find yourself starting to get more emotional as you tap through the points, I promise nothing has gone wrong here. Just keep tapping, keep your eyes open. You're allowing yourself to process emotion. You can't process an emotion without feeling that emotion. I am sorry to tell you, but there is never going to be a hack that will get you out of that step. And prior to being a coach, I was a therapist for 15 years, a trauma therapist, both in corrections and then in the military. And there is nothing that I have found quite like EFT, quite as powerful to help you move through emotion safely, gently, and as quickly as possible. So let's go ahead and dive in. Again, you are just going to tap where I tap and say what I say. And before we get started, let's just go ahead, or as we get started, let's just take a couple deep breaths together. And if you feel called to put your hands over your heart space, that's where I love to put mine. Go ahead and do that, or wherever they feel most comfortable to you. And you can either close your eyes or soften your gaze. And as we take a couple of deep breaths here, just in through the nose and out through your mouth, I invite you to just consider this upgrade, this transformation that you're being invited to right now, and just notice on a scale of 1 to 10 how you're feeling about that. What might be coming up for you? 1 being feeling any kind of resistance or anxiety or worry, low. 10 being like, ooh, it is very high. It is right here and feels like it is always going to be a part of me. And just go ahead, write that number down, and you're just going to come back and check in on that in between each round that we do and at the end. Okay? All right. So now let's just go ahead and dive in together, okay? So repeating after me, even though I'm putting so much pressure on myself to become the next version of me. Part of me might be scared shitless that I'm going to mess it up or somehow prove that I'm the same hot mess I've always been. I'm open to the possibility that the real upgrade isn't perfection. It's treating myself like somebody I actually like when shit goes sideways. And even though there's a part of me that might be resistant to moving forward, I choose to give myself compassion as I navigate this expansion with grace and curiosity. And even though there's a part of me that wants to rush this, that wants to be at the next phase already, I'm giving my body permission to relax, and I'm giving my mind permission to quiet as I let the answers come to me instead of trying to figure them all out right now. I'm trying so hard to get this right, to finally become the version of me who has all of her shit together. There's a part of me that's scared of messing up. What if I can't sustain this? What if I do all of this work and I'm still just me? I'm putting so much pressure on myself to figure this out. Part of me thinks I have to be flawless in order to be worthy of this next level. And honestly, it's pretty fucking exhausting. So let's just pause here and just take a breath. Notice what's already shifted for you. And maybe check in on that number. And we're going to continue on, okay? What if the upgrade isn't about never messing up? What if it's about just not abandoning myself when I do? What if the next version of me isn't perfect and actually doesn't have to be? What if she's just kinder to herself? More patient, less of an asshole when she messes up? What if I don't have to have it all figured out, and neither does she? What if the answer is just choosing to continue to show up for myself, whatever that means on any given day? What if expansion is less about leaving parts of me behind and more about coming home to who I already am? Again, pausing here, checking in on that number, checking in on what's already shifting for you before we dive into this last round. I give myself permission to be a work in progress. I choose to believe that I can have off days and still be leveling up. I choose to be proud of myself, even on the days where I maybe could have done better. The next version of me isn't rigid. She's resilient. Choosing to meet myself with compassion instead of criticism. And like her, I choose now to celebrate the small wins just as much as the big ones, because I know that they are the most important ones. That next version of me knows that growth isn't linear. It's messy and beautiful. And I choose to believe that now. That future version of me knows that she is still worthy, exactly as she is right now, just as I am giving myself permission to believe that in this moment. And taking a breath, and I invite you to either put your hands over your eyes or hands over your heart, either closing your eyes or softening your gaze, and just saying with me, I do not have to be perfect to be worthy of this next level. I just have to keep showing up for myself with compassion, with courage, and with grace, trusting that I am becoming exactly who I am meant to be. And taking a breath, breathing into that, once again, just taking a pulse. Where are you at on that scale of 1 to 10? And asking yourself, what have I made room for? It's okay if there's still some fear left, still some resistance. using tools like this, whether it's EFT or any tool, my belief, it's never about eradicating every shitty thing we wish we never had to think or feel. That's not being human. But it is about being able to show up powerfully for ourselves, even when we're feeling messy, even when we're feeling less than perfect, even when we wish we had more control, even though we wish we had more certainty in everything. That is the space to be. So I invite you to play around with that. You can find me at jess.johnsoncoaching if you're looking at me for me on Instagram, or you can check me out on my website, www.jessjohnsoncoaching.com. I look forward to hearing your shifts. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.